Starting. We are live. This is John Reed, and I am with Stijn Hendrikse, and I just butchered his first name, but sorry about that. We're going to talk about CMO content challenges, but from an interesting perspective, digital marketing, what you have to unlearn before you can succeed. And we've got someone who has walked the walk. Stijn, how's it going?
I'm good, John. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you responded to a piece that I wrote a little while ago around the content cliches and CMOs, because you've had a lot of direct experience with this issue, and I was really intrigued when you told me that there was a whole lot you had to unlearn about digital marketing. So can you tell us, the audience, a little bit about how you learned this? I know you were at Microsoft for a while. You learned some of this the hard way. So what did you learn?
Yeah, John, digital marketing first, started to enter our vocabulary probably 15 years ago. And for many people for a long time, including myself, that meant looking at spreadsheets, at conversion funnels, looking at Google Analytics data, etc. But really just thinking of it as a way to do the things we already did more efficiently and maybe a little faster. I sometimes equated it to making more noise and making more noise a little cheaper. And it took me many years to really understand that it has digital marketing and the access to data and the access of our customers, of course, to our information has turned so many other things on its head that the marketer has really to unlearn thinking about spreadsheets as the equivalent of digital marketing, or PPC for that matter, and really go back to some other fundamentals that many of the marketers have not done a good job at the last 10, 15 years.
Now, I know you're in Houston right now, and you told me you're talking with a bunch of other CMOs. What kinds of issues are you guys talking about right now?
Yeah, this is actually a great group. It's called the Chief Outsiders, John, and they are all ex-CMOs of Fortune 500 companies who have sort of made the leap into wanting to do real marketing and not wanting to be in meetings about the plan anymore. And they're all basically people who love marketing at the core. And we're debating here sort of how all these new trends fit in with very old truths, like knowing your customer, really understanding what their needs are, that many modern digital marketers don't spend enough time on anymore. So how do you match sort of the value proposition is and making it valuable with all the data we now have available and all the tools, hundreds of marketing tools that we can use to do things faster and reach more people, etc.
You said right before we started the video, you said something about listening. I don't hear marketers use the word listening very much. Can you tell us, like, in practice, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I have a very sort of black and white view on, for example, a lot of new marketing tactics. I think they fall into one of two categories. Either they help you make more noise or they help you listen better. If you think of a lot of digital marketing agencies, digital marketing tools, some are really just about helping you make more noise, doing it faster, doing it more effectively. A lot of the tools that help you to automate social marketing messaging, for example, are not really that helpful for the people on the listening side of the spectrum. They're making it easier for people to publish and to make more noise, but they're not making it easier for people to get the right content. When you think of tools like Google Analytics and SEO, they're great at making it easier to understand what people need, right? What landing page do they land on, what they're searching for. But there are many tools that are related to those technologies that are just about making more noise and reaching more people who are not searching for you. So yeah, think about that, John. Making more noise or listening better. And they're very different things, and they both can be done with digital marketing.
Now, I've talked with a number of CMOs on this issue, and one of the things I'm struggling with CMOs is that they're so good at measuring everything now, sentiment and analytics and traffic, but I feel like there's something that's getting lost. Maybe it's what inbound really is about, but I see CMOs struggling with something pretty basic, which is creating content that actually makes a difference in people's lives, specifically the lives of the customers and prospects that matter to their business. I just don't see that much content that I would consider compelling and I don't really understand why.
Well, that starts with listening. Coach companies, the first thing I do is when they have to figure out what their content strategy is, content priorities, is to ask them to go listen to customer service conversations, to go listen to sales conversations. And what you find is that's where the rich topics are created. That's where the conversations take place about the things that customers care about. For example, when a customer service agent, after they've solved the problem that a customer calls about, after they have done that successfully, and they ask the question, okay, customer, what are you trying to achieve by using our technology, by using our product, by using our service? That's where the golden content opportunity lies, because that's when customers start to tell you, okay, this is what I'm really achieving by using your product, etc. And then even, the concept of asking the why question a few more times. Why is that important for you? What is that achieving for you? How are you helping your customers? And that's where there are golden content opportunities, because the fact that conversation is taking place, that customers calling your company, means that there are questions that are unanswered. There's content to be written about those topics. So that's one angle, John, that maybe makes it a little easier for content marketers to get started and to not have to sort of, how do you call it, think about content in a very complex way, and content strategy as a very hard thing to do.
Well, you think about that a lot of times your salespeople have a lot of fantastic content and information walking around with them in their heads, and no one from the company really bothers to interview them and pull that content back out.
Yeah, salespeople, of course, are challenged with nowadays they have to help customers, right? Customers come into that conversation very, very educated. They know what they need. They probably know everything you have to offer already. So the salesperson is now really educating the customer, helping them make the purchase, helping them make the right decision. And that's where a lot of content gets created in that conversation that you need for what's called in when you think of HubSpots and other sort of buying cycles, it's what's called the consideration phase. And it doesn't help you really much for awareness, but when you think of consideration and the decision-making phase of the buying process, the best content gets us.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
For some reason I lost your last thought there. So just finish your last sentence again about the buying conversation.
So in that buying conversation, the content that you need to drive the conversion, the decision, the consideration attributes, that content really gets created in a typical sales conversation. So if you go there, if you listen to those conversations, that's where you can find content topics that are really useful.
You made an interesting point about the changing nature of the sales conversation as well, because marketers, I think, that are savvy are working more closely with salespeople, and also to help the sales team get a little more educated as well, because it's not enough anymore just to kind of have the gift of gab and get people on the phone and tell them how great everything is, because they might know more about your competitors' products and your products than you do. So it's interesting. I think the salesperson challenge goes both ways. You need their content, but you also need to help them better understand how to educate and help customers. And so salespeople have some culture changes that marketing, I think, has to help with also,
Yeah, I've written in the previous blog on how the role of sales and marketing is now more customer service agent almost. They're helping the prospect make a decision that has to be well educated. When the customer comes to the sales department, they typically have done a lot of research, so the questions they have are not always easy. Salespeople cannot be a blocker to those questions, so they need to be educated really well themselves. They need to be able to deal with questions they don't know the answer to, and help maybe the prospect research the answer to that question and really help them move forward in that cycle. It's a very different skill set. So what I see is that where marketers have become more sales people, as in they're being held accountable for metrics like conversion and the average price to the product. In the same move, the salesperson has become more accountable for customer service like metrics. How well are you helping the customer get an answer to their question?
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, you just posted a recent blog. So in our next video, I want to get into that blog because I think that blog presents a good framework for how marketers who are trying to understand content can move forward. So let's reboot the conversation.